Spread your wings and fly above the moon and the stars. Galaxies so far. Oh, where you are, I long to see your face. Can't believe you went away. Gone too soon, I say. But one day I'll see you in the sky. Just you and I. Just one last time, one last goodbye. Tears fall till they run dry. Trace and there you will find all the reasons why I
You live in a different world.
Hello everyone. I hope everyone is doing well on this, what's today? Wednesday the 10th, y'all. Again, with the way my life is going, days be going by so fast. Time be going by so fast. There be a lot going on. What's going on, King Deshaun? What's going on, Queen Stevie? Shout out to y'all being in the building. Again, shout out to my broski Harold. Okay, he sent me this earlier today, and I listened to the video, or watched and listened to the video that we're going to see on today's live. A horrible situation happened between two black same gender loving men, where unfortunately one of them has lost their life. And it appears, because again we can only speak on what it is that we see and what we know, was a domestic dispute between two men who were involved with each other. And the reason why I named the live Black Men plus a lack of emotional intelligence and awareness equals abuse, this is something that happens a lot with black men. Now, listen, before we go forward, I understand that this is not something that is exclusive to black men. Because again, we're going to go through the different levels of this. We're going to start off with the surface level, speaking about black queer men, because this is the context of this conversation. And then we're going to use this situation again as a springboard to go into just a lot of black men in the black community, regardless of them being hetero, queer, or somewhere in between. And then hopefully towards the end, we'll be able to dive into the root of it all, which is this is a humanity problem. When people don't have any sort of anchor, okay, of self-love or some sort of awareness of self-love, and they apply self-love into their life to strengthen their foundation, if you don't do that, you will develop something known as unhealthy attachments. Which means that instead of someone coming into your life to compliment you because you are already completed, you are already whole, you are already aligned, you start to look at life through the lens of, I need someone to complete me, something outside of you to complete you. And if you look at your life in that way or apply it in that way, it can go down many paths, just like the path of what we're going to get into today. But before we do that, y'all know how we do, because y'all, I'm holding my mic and I got it down here. Okay. Hold on. Pull it up. Boom. Listen. All the videos, songs, images, and graphics used in this live belong to their respective owners, and I or this channel does not claim any right over them. Okay, these are not my stuff. Again, I am not being paid for this. I am not a YouTube partner. I don't want to be a YouTube partner because I'm not going to censor how I speak. Okay, this is just to share information, to share knowledge, to have springboard conversations, and to challenge very toxic viewpoints that inspire situations like this. Hold on one second, y'all. Excuse me. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So now that we have got that on out the way, let's go ahead and get into the live. Sorry about that. I was trying to get my music together. Again, shout out to Harold. They sent me this video clip Okay, and the video clip that we're going to take a listen to, or basically look at and listen to for those of you who are just listening audibly. This is from the Neighborhood Talk. I forgot to put this link in the description box below, so I have to put it in after the live, because on OBS you have to have everything kind of ready. You can't go back and edit it, unfortunately. So, but and what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the video, then we're going to read the caption, get into some comments, and then we're going to delve deeper into the situation. Okay, again, viewer discretion is advised. This is a very tragic, traumatic situation that has happened. Some of the things that we're going to get into are going to be quite graphic in reference to what was done in this unfortunate situation. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the video clip. Let me cut this down some so we can get a little bit more volume. Y'all ready? Let's get it.
Now, family members of the victim, Carlos Collins, met up at their family home to reflect on what has happened since early this morning when they got the news. 12 News' Cameron Smith spoke with the family following their major loss.
I would have rather him shoot me, beat me with an axe. Not my baby. Not him.
Ashla Hudson, the mother of Carlos, says her son was killed by
Marcus Johnson, an ex-boyfriend of his, and who Carlos had restraining order on.
Hudson says Johnson
Followed my son to M-Bar.
and Marcus was sitting in a booth behind him. Hudson says Carlos filed a restraining order against Johnson, and some of her family members asked Marcus to leave that evening.
That's when security was alerted. But the security guards at M-Bar said that they couldn't do anything because they didn't actively have the restraining order there. So, leading up to this morning, I feared if they had arrested him Saturday night, my son still will be alive.
I'm here with Carlos Collins' family as they are grieving.
Lord, help me! Somebody turn him in, Lord! Turn him in!
Collins' aunt, Glory Jean Hudson, says her nephew came to see her last Thursday.
And he said, Auntie, I bought your steak. I bought this. I said, well, Carlos, I got your blueberry pie. Take it home, put half in the refrigerator, and eat the other. But I didn't know that bitch last time I seen my nephew.
In Yazoo City,
Police, I want you to find Marcus for killing my uncle at night.
Cameron Smith, 12 News.
Wow, that little girl almost got me at the end, y'all. I ain't gonna hold y'all. And this is again from the Neighborhood Talk. And it says, neighbors, this is so sad. A Mississippi man was unalived earlier Tuesday morning after a former lover allegedly stalked him and gunned him down inside his own apartment. According to WJTV, Carlos Collins, 25, had multiple restraining orders against his ex, Marcus Johnson, 33, before the tragic event occurred. Carlos's mother claims her son was at M-Bar in Jackson, Mississippi, when Marcus popped up at the club to reportedly stalk Carlos. Although he had a restraining order, officers at the club claimed they could not do anything about it because they didn't have the restraining order physically with them. So when Carlos left the club, Marcus reportedly followed him back to his apartment and unalived him. According to the news reports, Marcus, who is a former Jackson police officer, reportedly shot Carlos multiple times inside his apartment. Family members even claim an axe was used in the murder, but no official reports have confirmed that detail. As of right now, Marcus is a wanted man, and authorities have issued a warrant for his arrest, or arrest warrant for his arrest. In the comments, someone has said he was unalived horrifically, beat, shot, stabbed, and killed with an axe. Just pure evil. Electric chair would be too easy. So heartbreaking. Someone else said, why did they edit this interview like this? It lacks no compassion and makes their grief look like a spectacle. Someone else says, MS Mississippi doesn't take DV seriously at all. Domestic violence. Someone else said, this is so sad. This should be a wake-up call for a lot of us that toxic stuff isn't cute. Some people don't deserve relationships, children, etc. Someone else said, M-Bar is so trash. The owner condones violence. He be letting men beat on women in there too. He don't care, I swear. Wow. Now they mentioned that this individual was stalking. And again, Harold, shout out to him. He was able to give me some screenshots of Marcus's Facebook. And there was someone there who shared a post about it and put a few, I guess, links up there so they can kind of go down the rabbit hole. And we see a lot of posts from Marcus's Facebook profile, his personal Facebook profile, that is very alarming. Very alarming. Let's go ahead and take a look at those real quick. This is Marcus's page. The first one says, headed back to her house after our 7th breakup this week.
Never breaking up, bitch. It's either me or nobody else in this world. Bitch, I love you to death. Never breaking up, bitch. You think I'm crazy? $60 million.
When I spend a bag on this girl, fell in love with her, and planned out how our future going to be, and ninjas expect me to not crash out about her.
For motherfucking lotto tickets, and I'm crazy, nigga. I'm insane, nigga. Crazy. $60 million worth of motherfucker.
That shit you poured in the kitchen, I should have fucked you up, but I let you walk away. And that shit you poured.
That's when your ex take you back.
Just hold on a second. I got one more thing I want to say to you.
I'm not thinking about that girl.
I've been doing a lot of thinking. And
later that night.
2 minutes.
All right, now. Goddamn it, I miss you, and I'm tired of this. This done.
Now you trying to throw people off your track.
No. What do you have to ask me?
What the fuck, y'all? God damn! God!
When she texts you why you ain't try none afterwards, but you was trying to be a respectful young man.
Damn! God!
Capricorn's toxic trait is we will deal with something until randomly one day we're like, okay, I'm done, and never talk to you for the rest of our lives.
Hey, don't try to figure me out, because I'll block you and still stalk you. I never made sense or gave a fuck on God, you hear me, man?
Wow.
What happened when you got your heart broken?
I did everything but die. I thought I was dead, crying like a...
So that was from Marcus's page. Now let's get into some of the posts that people made in reference to Marcus, and showing their love and support for Collins, who unfortunately again was the victim of Marcus. Okay, let's take a look at that really quick. It says, Marcus Johnson, you weird MFer. How do you break into someone's home, stab, shoot, and use an axe to unalive them? I hope they hang you by your motherfucking feet. Carlos Collins was a beautiful person inside and out. And because he didn't want you, you decided to unalive him. Like, what the fuck? You're going to pay for taking one of God's children. I remember when you would stalk Cece, and I had to get in your shit about Quincy. You're trash in the flesh. Look at all the crazy shit you posted on your page. Ain't no telling who else you have harmed or unalived. Your ass should have been locked up anyways. You been doing this BS, allegedly. Let's get into another post. Marcus Johnson. I can't believe I even know you. I am disgusted. How the fuck could you? We have allowed you in our homes, around our families, cried, hugged, even slept in the same beds, and so many other things. And all this time, you were a psychopathic killer. Mississippi doesn't do the electric chair, right? But I pray to God you are considered. I'm trying to move this up. There we go. Sources say you have shot him 7 times, hit him with an axe over 30 times, and stabbed him over 22 times. None of it should have happened. You stole keys and went and made a copy and had air tags on his car to stalk him and to track him, and he never even knew. He didn't deserve this. Why he just began to live life and you took it all from him because he wanted to move on. You did wrong, Marcus. You wrong. This was premeditated and you deserve not an ounce of mercy. I can't even wrap my head around this. Carlos Collins, I'm so sorry, baby. It feels like I'm watching Fatal Attraction or something. Like, this is unreal, man. And again, over here on BubzDaGawd, we want to offer our condolences, okay, to Collins for what has happened. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to read 2 news articles from the, let me pull it up real quick, excuse me, from the Clarion Ledger. Okay, again, those links are in the description box below if you choose to read along with me. The first one reads, let me change the music, hold on. Give me 1 second. Former Jackson police officer is suspect in murder of registered nurse near Old Canton Road. Public Information Officer Tommy Brown confirmed to the Clarion Ledger that the Jackson Police Department is investigating a Tuesday homicide that left 1 person dead. Police said 25-year-old Carlos Collins, the victim, was killed at Tapestry Northridge Apartments off Parkway Drive near Old Canton Road. Collins was a registered nurse for Yazoo City. Brown also confirmed to the Clarion Ledger that investigators are looking for Marcus Johnson, 33, in connection to the murder. Johnson faces charges of murder and shooting into an occupied dwelling. Police said Johnson is a former Jackson police officer who was terminated in 2013 after less than a year with JPD. According to a WAPT report, the family said Collins succumbed to gunshot wounds and an axe was also used during the incident. The family also told WAPT that Collins had filed several restraining orders against the alleged suspect. Brown stated more details of the nature of the crime would be released later Tuesday. In a separate incident in 2014, Johnson was arrested and charged with impersonating an officer at Palisades apartments near Jackson State University. Johnson wrote a fake citation to a female student, according to previous Clarion Ledger reporting. The victim said Johnson tried to hook up with her in order to void the ticket, the police report stated. Officers said Johnson was in possession of a stolen JPD radio and an old ticket book. Johnson also used a current officer's badge number in the incident. Johnson was charged with false pretense, grand larceny, and 2 counts of impersonating an officer in connection to the 2014 incident. Wow. So not only is Johnson on the run for this horrible atrocity that he has done, but he has tried to use certain elements of power to get what he wants, and we're going to delve deeper into that when we start moving towards the origin or the source of why people do things like this. Okay, let's go ahead to a most recent one, okay, that was done at 11:24 of today, which reads, former Jackson police officer still sought in Carlos Collins' killing. What we know. Murder suspect Marcus Johnson is still being sought by the Jackson Police Department, where he was briefly employed as an officer. Why is Marcus Johnson wanted? Johnson, 33, is wanted in the death of Carlos Collins, 25. JPD says Collins was shot at Tapestry Northridge Apartments on Tuesday, April 9th. An axe was also used in the incidents, according to reports. Who was Carlos Collins? Let me turn this music down some because I feel like it's a little too loud. There we go. Collins was a registered nurse from Yazoo City. Collins' family told WAPT that several restraining orders had been filed against Johnson. How long was Johnson employed as a police officer? Johnson was terminated in 2013 after less than a year, according to JPD. In a separate incident in 2014, Johnson was arrested and charged with impersonating an officer at Palisades apartment near Jackson State University. Johnson was charged with false pretense, grand larceny, and 2 counts of impersonating an officer in connection to the 2014 incident. Okay, the results of the case have not been reported. So now that we have read 2 articles about what happened, we have gotten some experiences and words from those who knew Chris Collins and even knew about Marcus's ass and the shit he was doing, okay, in Mississippi, to where one individual had to dig off in his ass about some crazy shit. And the fact that this individual was employed by JPD and yet was let go. See, there's a lot of things that I feel like we need to dig deeper into, because there are multiple things that we can talk about in this situation. But the first thing that we're going to start off with, what's up, Nate? What's going on? And I'm gonna get to y'all comments in a minute. What we can start off on, first of all, is the fact that because of the society we live in and how society has this viewpoint of how men should be and should act, that even in domestic situations between 2 men, where one of the people in the party who is not liking how they're being treated, even when they walk away from the situation, i.e. getting not just 1, 2, but multiple restraining orders against this person, that those restraining orders and those tactics used in the right way to get this person to leave me alone and stop stalking me, when it's 2 men, a lot of people don't really care for it, because in society says, well, you're a man, whoop his ass. You're not a woman. You're not a female, even though one of y'all in the relationship is quote unquote the woman, and I'm speaking in the viewpoint of a lot of ignorant people. And then when we talk about domestic abuse happening to men, and in this context, queer men, nobody cares. And now, because of the incompetence of the police department, now somebody's life has been lost. And it also shows a record that they used to work for the police department. And we know, unfortunately, how the shit go down in the South, especially in those certain areas, in those certain places. Now, one of the comments that was left under the Neighborhood Talk post spoke on something that I definitely want to talk about, where they said that us accepting all this toxic behavior as something the fuck cute, that is what gets us in these type of situations. Let's talk about the queer community first, before we go ahead and go off. Because again, I would have thought that certain red pill communities would be speaking about this situation more so than queer people doing it. There is a big part of the queer community, especially with black men, because we're talking about black men at this point, that needs to do a lot of healing. But because these are black men who are also queer, that healing can be very fucking difficult. Because queer people also have to subscribe to the heteronormative way of being, to where if you deviate from that heteronormative path, look what happens. So you're already dealing with a group of people who have already been demonized, ostracized by family members, by friends. And we thank God for the family members and friends that do stick by the sides of queer people when they walk in their truth. Which I hope that becomes more of something that is normal as opposed to something being very rare that happens. And then you go into the queer community with other broken people, and broken people do broken shit like this. Now again, because these are two men and it's a domestic situation, instead of police officers, instead of the law doing what the fuck the law is supposed to do, the law said, well, it's two men. Do y'all know what a restraining order is supposed to do? A restraining order means that no matter where the fuck I am, you are not supposed to be near me in these are many amounts of feet. He popped up to the club. They called the police. The police said, look, there's nothing that we can do about this. And because y'all wasn't willing to do something about it, look at what the fuck has happened. Sorry, I'm trying to loop these songs. I forgot to loop them. And this is not just one isolated incident of domestic abuse against men. Do y'all remember the live that I did about an individual from Bigo named Deezy, who was in a toxic back and forth and on and off relationship with this individual named Maniac? And now this individual Deezy is in a very toxic back and forth relationship with Arquez. Someone else had put in the comment below that they were even afraid to date again because you run the risk of manifesting this. We all, unfortunately, if we don't do our self-love work, we unconsciously play into the stereotypes that are being put against us. I would love for the narrative around black men to change, to be something better, something that has evolved, something that is beneficial to black men and those that interact with black men. And that's why, as a black man, even though I am a queer black man, I am still a black man who is cis male. So I'm going to check my black brothers, whether they're queer or not. Now, as far as Marcus's ass, hell yeah, Marcus' ass needs to be locked the fuck up. But I also do think there needs to be some sort of extensive therapy that he needs to go through while he's in prison, because prison is supposed to be a place that is supposed to rehabilitate people. And yes, when you go to the extremes of taking someone else's life, your life will have to be in exchange for that. But it doesn't mean that you still cannot find redemption, but you still gonna have to do the motherfucking time pimping. Because if you ask me, from my perspective, the reason why this happened is because Marcus's ass doesn't have any control in his life. The fact that he wanted to become a police officer, not because he cared about the community, not because, oh, I'm tired of all the racist shit that be happening to my own people in this fucking city or this town or wherever it is, because I've never been to that place in Mississippi, but to make a change. Not that. He was trying to become a police officer just like a lot of the racist cops became police officers, to have some form of objective, unchallenged power. And Marcus's ass couldn't even fucking achieve that shit because, again, he was only in the police department for less than a fucking year. Again, to the point to where this nigga impersonated an officer, pulled some chick over and told her, well, if you want to get out this ticket, you're going to have to let me see what's between your legs and lickety-split it. No. And there are some people, especially when you get into a romantic relationship where you are loving someone, whether it's in a healthy or unhealthy way, especially if it's unhealthy, it becomes more intense. Because now, again, like I said earlier, when you put your power outside of you, once that power source is gone, whether it's voluntarily or involuntarily, like the realm of death, some people don't know how to handle that. And because there is no emotional intelligence there comes this, well, if I can't have you, can't nobody have you type of mentality. And now somebody has lost their life because your motherfucking ass is trying to control shit outside of you, where you about to have the ultimate experience about having every motherfucking action you do be governed over. You were on this quest for complete supreme control, which if you would have loved your goddamn self, you would have been able to manifest that mindset inwardly to where you realize the only world that I have objective and subjective, supreme, ultimate, total control over is my own life and my own reality. Well, guess what, nigga? You about to have all your shit governed. And the energy that you put out, you're going to receive that back, pimping. That's why I say I hope your ass gets some sort of help, some sort of therapy. And don't get up here talking about, oh, I gave my life to Christ, and you just giving your life to Christ just so you don't go to hell. Give your life to Christ because you truly want to change and become a better person and walk that out. Because if you continue to do this whole performative shit for human beings, baby, understand God, source, universe, consciousness sees all the shit in the light and in the dark. Now let's take this from the queer perspective And let's make it a little bit more broader, shall we? For black men who are heterosexual, y'all gonna have to start holding your toxic brothers accountable. This whole bro code is the reason why black women keep speaking ill against y'all. This toxic ass bro code is the reason why black queer people are speaking against y'all. But again, because in this society, we have given very, I guess, cardinal ideas or things that are imperative to become a man or to be a man. And that is your physical prowess, your sexual prowess, and your power to be able to dominate and control. And because black women had no choice but to evolve, even in the means of surviving. And now we're in a space where black women are educating themselves because knowledge is power. My people perish by the lack of knowledge. It didn't say perish by the lack of strength, but of knowledge, information, to where they have been able to take care of a household on their own, to be able to make the money that society says that men need in order to be a man, and better yet, a high value man. That you gotta own a corporation or have people working underneath you, and there are black women that are already in those positions of power. CEOs, co-owners, stockholders. And now that women are able to show up in ways that a lot of black men have been taught that that's the only way they can show up in. Now a lot of black men are figuring out, well, what do I do? How do I be a man to you? Well, again, maybe you can go and give her what she desires, which is the emotional awareness and intelligence, because society says that men are not emotional, but men are emotional, but they have stronger capabilities to govern and control their emotions, i.e. stoicism. And we have seen on this YouTube streets, in these YouTube streets, what stoicism looks like. But if these individuals were to really genuinely tap into the emotional awareness and intelligence and not make it gay or make it queer, you would be able to be more in tap with your woman. Because now you're able to speak her motherfucking language. Instead of her learning how to speak yours, how about y'all learn to speak each other? I heard somebody say, oh, happy wife, happy life. Fuck all that. Happy spouse, happy house. That means both parties are heard. Both parties are validated. Both parties are able to understand each other. There is no fear or no jealousy there, because you know who you are. Your partner knows who the hell they are. Your spouse knows who the hell they are. And y'all coming together as healed individuals. But a lot of black men don't know how to show up in that way. And even when they do, there are other black men that literally demonize them. Let me bring it on back to the queer experience, again with dating. In my dating history, After my first romantic relationship that was actually successful and was the most successful relationship that I had thus far, because it lasted 2.5+ years, everything else lasted fucking the most months, a few months, the least about a week or so. But from 2011 all the way to motherfucking 2020, well, really 2018 to be honest, and then the last 2 years was like whatever, before I got to this space. My whole life, or I felt like the way that my life could be, or gave purpose to my life, was that if I was in a romantic relationship and someone was able to give that back to me, that's what I thought of a beautiful life. To where I sat up here and was low-key desperate for romantic connection. Now, I wasn't desperate for romantic connection with just any old body, but at the same time, I still was attracting people who were not meant for me, who were there to teach me a lesson. And I have been in spaces where I have been hurt, used, and abused, and no shade, I'm gonna keep it all the way real. Had some dark ass thoughts like Marcus on a motherfucker. I ain't gonna sit up here and lie, especially when I put time, effort, and energy into shit, and you gonna play games in my motherfucking face. Hell yeah. Fatal attraction thoughts do cross your mind. It was one individual in particular. And again, one thing that the gays do, unfortunately, is move a little too fast. We need to learn how to slow down and court and date and shit too. But I met this individual through a mutual friend of ours. We were talking for about a week. He was going through some shit with his family, and his family ended up kicking him out. He had nowhere to go. So at that time, I had a conversation with my parents, and I said, hey, is it okay for him to stay here for a little bit until he get on his feet? I love my parents. That's how I know they have unconditional love for me. To where they allowed this individual to be in our home. Didn't really know the person. I didn't really know the person. But I thank God I ain't bring nobody in this motherfucker that blew shit up or was horrible. At least I had some sort of spirit of discernment when it come to bringing in people in the house that will rob you blind. At least I didn't bring them in the house, thank the Lord. And I remember the first night he came, when he was staying here for the time, where just the way he slept different. He slept like he was comforted. He slept like he was able to not worry or think about shit. But then shit started getting weird. To where he would tell me how he feel about me and that he care about me, and he would show it, but he also was gone a lot. One time he went to go hang out with his little white girlfriend, because this individual was also into white men, which I'm thinking like, why are you even trying to talk to me or be with me? But anyway. He went out with his white girlfriend and said, oh, I'll be back. Never came back for at least a day and a half. My ass at the time, desperate ass on goddamn Google and shit, looking up, how do you trace somebody's phone number? How do you find somebody's location? I'm doing all type of shit, damn near putting firmware and shit on my damn phone and shit, computer and shit. But he was cheating on me. He was lying to me. And when I found out and I kicked his ass out, there was a part of me that, yes, wanted to ride and find this nigga. Be like, girl, call my friend like, bitch, let's go find this nigga. We gonna whoop this nigga, because I wanted to hurt him. Because how dare you do this to me? So again, I said all that to say that, in a sense, no shade, let's be real. If we don't do our self-love and our self-work, any one of us could be a motherfucking Marcus. Any one of us could have one situation happen to where now we want it for some shit. All because we lack emotional intelligence and awareness and self-love to not even think and to say, hey, maybe I'm not meant to be with you. And baby, if somebody getting a restraining order against you, that should let you know it's over. But again, we don't know the full context of the situation with Marcus and Carlos, because as we saw on the Facebook, going back to your partner the 7th time, I don't know if this was a back and forth type of thing that eventually Carlos realized was very toxic and went and got multiple restraining orders. And why do I have to get multiple? Shouldn't the one restraining order do enough? So if I have to get multiple, obviously y'all not taking my shit seriously. And we're obviously seeing that a lot of black men don't obviously care for other black men until it's time to use them in a talking point. Because you'll have certain platforms, and I'm going to keep talking my shit until individuals do their work to change my commentary about talking the shit. But you will have individuals who will sit up here and say and make lies, well, what about the domestic abuse against men from women? Women be beating on men too. And yes, that is true. But then, when you had certain queer people on your platform and they responded a certain way, you told those queer men that men are not going to save them. That men should be able to save themselves. So if you're saying that, why can't that same thing be used when your argument is, well, what about the women that's beating up on men? Well, y'all keep saying that women are weak, right? I heard someone else say that if I lived in a city and all of the police officers there were women, I would move. Even though their mother was the lead of the motherfucking drug task force, body slamming niggas, doing all type of shit, and had men working underneath her. Oh, with that, well, she's an outlier. But it also shows that it's possible. And you're going to gag at how much of an outlier that really isn't. Because if anything, I do implore for women and the spectrum of women, again, to learn how to defend they damn selves. And that's also another remedy to this domestic abuse stuff. Learn how to, first of all, love yourself enough to do what Carlos did. Walk the fuck away. Now we gonna dig into the human part of it. I went all around the world, because again, there's nuance to this. I know some of y'all are used to flying long ass flights on goddamn Spirit Airlines, cramped the fuck up with a bunch of crying babies on your flight, but we're over here first class Delta, baby. Take your time and relax. Again, there are some individuals who are in domestic situations who are afraid to leave, who are scared to leave. They know it's not right. But again, in certain instances, that could also be the attention that they're getting. Some people could be having some internal conversations like, oh, I ain't worth it. I deserve this. And then they manifest someone in their life who just physically is the manifestation of what they believe about themselves, which is why they also play a part in that. And then there are some like Carlos who broke loose from that and was able to say, you know what? This is not healthy for me. Yes, I might still love you. Yes, I'm going to have my withdrawals. Yes, I'm going to think about the good times. But my life and my safety is more important than this toxic form of love. Because if it was a healthy, aware love, it wouldn't hurt like this. Love hurts, but not like this. Love hurts when your partner is taken away from you, i.e. through the realm of death. That hurts. Even if that means that you and that person no longer are in a relationship with each other. You can also let somebody go in love, and that shit still hurts. Because I had to learn how to do that. I swear I'm going to get to y'all comments. I'm just in the flow right now. And then that shit can get scary because, again, who really out here trying to get stalked for real? There are some people who love that type of energy. Oh, he always checking for me. He always checking for me, until it's out of the realm of your power to where now he has power and dominance over you. And then also, again, with Carlos, went and did the right thing. Or what the system says is the right thing to do. Call someone, please call 911. And he did that, yet the police officers are to blame too, because if they were doing their fucking job, just like how when they pull over a black person, they know how to do their motherfucking job with that, you're not doing your job in reference to protecting one. So you'll do your job when it comes down to criminal, and this is the opportunity for you to quote unquote criminalize a black man. But see, you can't really criminalize this black man for real to the fullest extent of the law, because again, this black man also was a part of y'all police department. So that also looks bad on y'all as far as optics. No matter how long ago it was. Baby. But like someone said in the comments, Mississippi don't give a fuck about domestic violence cases. They don't. Because there's a bunch of, let me just say it, a bunch of sore fucking losers who are mad because they got their ass whooped in the Civil War, and they gonna fuck around and get their ass whooped again if it happens a second time. And I'm also gonna give you a remedy. Because I feel like this remedy, and it's so sad. It's so sad that I even have to say this. But at the end of the day, when you drive a person to their breaking point and past it, what the fuck do you expect them to do? If you expect them to sit there and take it and, oh my God, there are some people who will, until the universe lines your ass up with that day when you come across the wrong motherfucker at the right time, or the right motherfucker at the wrong time. It just depends on how you look at it. And that remedy is, if you are dealing with someone who is stalking you and you've done your due deals as far as doing the law enforcement first and letting police and damn chiefs and deputies and shit, wherever you are in the United States of America, about what's happening, and they ain't doing shit, and this person becomes persistent and they break into your house, unalive that nigga. Leave, change the narrative. Some motherfuckers ain't gonna understand until they experience it. There are many things at play here, and if it was so fucking easy to pinpoint what everything was, we would have been got to it. That's why I'm all over the place when I do my commentary, because there are so many nuances. And yet, I'm trying to encourage other people to join the conversations, one, who also are not queer, but also individuals outside. Because like I said, if we gonna sit up here and check everybody's motherfucking blind spots, and we're doing it in the realm of love, and you really mean it, nigga, let's really do this. But like I told somebody in a conversation a few days ago, you ain't gotta wait for motherfuckers to get their shit together. Because the main objective in all of our lives is to work out our own soul salvation. And yes, I say things like this all the time that seems very repetitive, because I do my information and I do my research. That's how you start a new habit. You have to say things repetitiously, do things repetitiously to develop a habit. But I'd rather do that in a healthy way. And I'd rather get on this motherfucker all the time and tell queer people and tell women and tell people, look, learn how to defend yourself. I don't give a damn who you are. Learn how to protect yourself. If someone is trying to harm you, you have the God-given right to take their ass out. I already filed police reports. I already got restraining orders. You can't throw my ass in jail, bitch. Go ahead and take this shit to trial, because they're going to throw this shit out, because they're going to be looking at y'all and saying, well, he did file police reports. He did get multiple stuff. What are y'all doing? But I wonder if the race was different, would that have made a change then? Overall, I need for black men to fucking heal. I need for black men to heal. And I'm saying that as a healed black man who also on this spectrum of life will be growing and evolving in my healing, because healing is not just one place you get to and it's ultimately done. No, it's just like a checkpoint. That's all it is. Healing in this journey of life is like reaching a checkpoint. When I say I want black men to heal, that means I want black fathers to heal, black brothers to heal, black nephews, black cousins. I want black men to heal because I want to be married to a fucking healed black man. I want to raise a family with a healthy black man in the same energetic love that my family gave me through the midst of all life's trials and tribulations. I can go forth and create an even better version for my children. I want black men to heal because I want also to have healed black friends. Black men that if they going through some shit, they can call me. What's going, man, I need to talk to somebody, bro, like for real, and not judge them. And to be able to do it without, oh my God, now that I told you that, you probably gonna want to stick your dick in my ass. How the hell do we get to this point, nigga? What, you just complaining about your bullshit? Without them making it gay. I would love to see black men be more than just fucking rappers and athletes. Where are the black dancers, the black composers, the black artists? Allow black men to be able to express themselves. If a motherfucker want to dye his hair green because that's his favorite fucking color and he into goddamn chakras and shit, and chakra and green is the color of the heart chakra, and he wants to do that, or frost tip his goddamn dreads or something, let him do that without it being gay. That's what I'm saying. This system has got black men in such of a toxic view of femininity and emotions, which is also an energetic thing that is a part of their ass. Because we're man and then woman or womb man. They came from man if you believe the Bible. And science even says that the clitoris is like a small penis. So in a sense, girl, you're... And then you'll have these podcasts that would get up here and kind of be like Alex Jones to the bullshit. Y'all, I don't know if y'all saw the Alex Jones documentary on HBO. On Max, well, it was called Max now. Where he's a very big conspiracy theorist, and we do have to give him some credit. He did expose Bohemian Grove that really set the internet on fire in reference to this whole conspiracy theorist stuff. So he does have a stake in exposing a lot of low vibrational stuff that is coming to the forefront. We have to give him that. Just like Kim Burrell. I don't really fuck with Kim Burrell like that because her ass was queerphobic. She ain't really genuinely apologized for that. But just because I don't fuck with her on that tip does not mean that I don't fuck with her music, because she's still a vocal beast. But Alex Jones is the individual who lied and said that Sandy Hook was a lie. And all these people who children was a part of this shit, who they have seen the crime scene photos and seen the fucking autopsies and shit of their dead children, for him to get up there and instead of him saying, I'm sorry for lying, I apologize, and practice what is known as reconciliation. You know what reconciliation means? Reconciliation means I am wholeheartedly, genuinely, authentically, from the top of my head to the soles of my goddamn feet, I am sorry and I apologize for what I have done. The emotional energy is there because, again, there are some of us who are growing in our spirit of discernment and understand that men may lie, but the energy doesn't. Emotion is simply energy in motion. I just want to say something so bad. Y'all demonizing energy and motion and making it something gay, and y'all wonder why y'all shit fucked up. Okay, well, a queer person trying to help you here. And after you're apologizing, you then put your action into it. For example, Alex Jones was sued for millions of dollars. When you really sorry, and as much as that shit go motherfucking hurt to let all that motherfucking millions of dollars go, I know your ego is screaming instead of doing the right thing that would count in heaven. Being able to do the one thing that, according to some of how y'all interpret the Bible, the rich man was unable to do when he asked Christ, well, how much it costs to get up in there? And Christ said, well, the only cost is for you to give up all your money and follow me. And he told that nigga, here go a few coins for your stuff. Christ, you want some new sandals, new shoes, want some new robes and shit? We can give y'all fresh bread and shit. I don't know. Maybe I'll go over here with them niggas and build the Tower of Babel, because if I'm not giving up this money. But instead of looking at it in the form of reconciliation, a lot of people is going to look at it in reference to people just getting revenge on them or getting their lick back. Now, I ain't going to lie. When you do shit to somebody, there is going to be a little bit of lick back energy. It is what it is, girl. But the goal is to get to a common ground of reconciliation so that we can move forward and address bigger issues, like the fact that in this case, Carlos filed multiple restraining orders against this man, and this man was still able to defy those motherfucking and that's why I love people who think outside the box. That's why I try my best to think outside the box. And a lot of people don't like fucking with thinking outside the box because it requires too much mental work. When mental work is one of the most important things. It's mental and emotional work. Those are the two most imperative things that we can work on. But again, to these red pill spaces, again, instead of practicing reconciliation, it's practicing vengeance, because again, y'all know that we know that y'all know that y'all are wrong. Objectively wrong. Cringely wrong. And if men are going to be the leaders, if men are going to be the kings, if men are going to be the most important variable in this situation, that means that you're the most responsible for everything. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. And a lot of y'all want to wear the crown and the power that comes with the crown, but not the responsibility that comes with the crown. And a lot of y'all are having crowns as crooked motherfucking kings. Mad kings, like the king from goddamn, what's that show? Game of Thrones? Yes, black women need to heal, and that's also going to be a conversation for black women and by black women to heal. Black women also have their fair share in this shit, even though their fair share is a vengeance response, which is not good. That's the thing. We keep getting into these cycles of vengeance as opposed to trying to establish a cycle of reconciliation. So that the next generation ain't got to pay for this shit. Because the next generation out here acting like Sexy Red and all that shit because mommy and daddy couldn't get it together. And like one individual said on a red pill platform, that to me summarized everything that I said, to where it's like, if this was the light bulb moments of all light bulb moments. He said all the shit that's happening in the world today in reference to what they believe is confusion and all this other type of decadent type of shit. All of this wouldn't have happened if the man and the woman, the mommy and the daddy, the nuclear family, if they wouldn't have fallen off they shit. And when it comes down to blackness, there are some outside forces that does play a part in that. But we as black people also play a part in that as well, because we're doing things subconsciously. Consciously outside of us, I say this and I will say it again. I feel like I just have to remind myself, Bubs, you are in a classroom. You're going to have new people come in all the time. So you got to repeat the same shit sometimes for the new people. For the people who study and go to school and shit, they used to hearing the same shit all the time because there's an evolution from that. They had a basis and they moved up from it. Everybody knows how to add and supply. Then you move on to multiplication and division and other shit. There's levels to this shit, Nico. You know what? Let me get y'all comments. What time is it? It is 3:15. I'm looking. Let me see. Deshaun says, he just looks so freaking familiar. Like I watched him from somewhere. I talked to him one time. I don't know. It was Facebook. I mean, I don't know. Because again, the queer community is a very, 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 very small community. Sometimes when I look at my mutual friends and shit, I be like, well, damn, you friends with almost half of my damn friend. You know what I'm saying? So you possibly have. You possibly have. You know, and this is in Mississippi and near Old Canton Road. And I know that Scotty by nature lives in Mississippi. And I think he used to live in Canton, if I'm not mistaken. So I wonder if he even knew this person. So I'll probably have to text him and ask him and see if he does. Because he did share something on his Instagram story either last night or night before that kind of, I don't know if it could have hinted to this. I don't know. But, again, let me see. Queen Stevie said, I said that DV goes on in all communities, straight and queer. And a lot of queer black men think that the rough thug life fetishization of DL trade is cool. What people fail to realize, it's also toxic masculinity. Baby, that is the truth. That is the truth. This whole idea of trade. Now, when I did my research on trade years ago, trade, I guess from the origins where it first came from, some of the old queens who were speaking, they said that trade basically means a heterosexual man who is willing to trade something for sexual favors. It's like the same thing known as gay for pay. Oh, I'll pay you this amount of money if you woo-whoop-de-woo. That was trade. And let's be real. Men, and I do want to do a live with this, and I'm going to try to get Dr. Nakumbe on this too. But men in general, whether you straight or you queer or you bi or whatever, for the most part, because there are some people who are asexual and pan and got different things going on. But for the most part, for men, you're going to find a way to bust a nut. I already told y'all this. I already said this. And people get innovative with it too. So there are men out there that are heterosexual that will have sex with other men because they're still emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually attracted to women. Who, for a lot of men, a hole is a hole regardless of where it's coming from. And there are queer men who, again, want to be with trade, and again, it's just my opinion, my perspective, because again, they're tapping into something that society says they can't have, nor will they ever be, because of the way that they present themselves. Does that make sense? If I tap into this DL trade man who has given me all this masculine energy that was denied to me because of my queerness, and even told that I am not a real man because of this, that now I'm able to have access to this experience. But the gag is, the experience is only just that. It's an experience, and it's not a romantic experience where this individual is trying to build with you. And then you might have a few that might start getting in their feelings, because shout out to YB Entertainment. Shout out to him. He shared a story a few of his lives ago about how one of his past individuals was like, look, I'm not into dudes, but it's something about this nigga right here, though, that I'm willing to, you know what I mean? There are some queer men that's able to play the game again with the other niggas and do nigga shit, like, okay, well, this is what we do. But then there are others who do end up falling in love, because in my perspective, that's why I don't have casual sex. Because if you continue to have casual sex, and especially if the casual sex is good, somebody's going to start catching some form of feelings. Knowing that you fully cannot be with this individual who is trade, because they're not walking in their truth, or if they are going to be with you publicly, it's got to be somewhere else, somewhere in another state and town and shit. Because if we in the area where everybody knowing shit, I'm gonna hide my damn car seat down, I'm gonna walk a few feet behind you. Like, who wants to be in a relationship like that? That might seem hot and cool, whatever, and I guess in the beginning if y'all into role playing and shit, but after a while it's like, nigga, you role playing 24/7, girl. We're supposed to be a cut, mark, we're done. And in a lot of those cases, those DL situations become dangerous too. There's been situations where, again, shout out to T.S. Madison, she has shared her own past stories about how she has got robbed a few times and she thought that that was going to be it for her. There are individuals who want to do shit with you, but then when they're done and they have what is known as post-nut clarity and all the judgment and the shame and the ridicule and all of the false scenarios playing in their mind because, oh my God, I actually did this. Now all of a sudden, it could become something violent to where now I have to get rid of you. And we live in a society and a culture, unfortunately now, and I hope that it's shifting to where they can do all that shit and still have the privilege to say, oh, well, I ain't even know. And people believe it. Oh, he ain't even know. He ain't even know. He ain't even know. But if we was to put a black light to his mouth and his ass, we'll see who didn't really know. What did Whitney Houston say? I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know. In this instance, her equals Carlos. Yep. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume the suspect was DL. I mean, they said they knew the person. They said they knew him. And on top of that, I mean, I guess he tried to get some nookie from like he said, a girl trying to pretend to be a cop and shit. When someone says no, no means no, but that's not the case in this situation. It reminds me of that song by Teddy Pendergrass. Come on and go with me. Come on over to my place. And she kept saying, no, no, come on, babe. I ain't gonna pressure you. But you keep going for it, nigga. I told you, no, I have to go. No, baby. See, again, that's mental and emotional awareness. When you have mental and emotional awareness, you'll realize, okay, I'm making shit cringy, and I'm sorry, and I apologize. No means no. Some of these niggas are like Ice JJ Fish. When I see that red light, all I know is go. Oh, with you, boo. Be dyslexic as fuck when it comes down to it. And this is what happened in this situation is an extreme case of that. And I already told you what the remedy is, girl. Negative times a negative is a positive, baby. He want to come through and no mean yes to him, girl. Will let yes equals bullets for this nigga, girl. Boo doo 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 in self-defense. Cause I told your ass no. Now, once I told you no and you keep going forward, in my head, I'm going to assume that you just want your ass beat. That you obviously don't want to have both of your eyeballs no more. That you must not want to breathe anymore because I'm going to punch you all type of times in your damn throat, in your trachea and shit. You must not care about your heart because I'm going to punch down in your chest multiple times and force your heart to skip a beat, bitch, and fuck up the whole rhythm of your body. Maybe you don't want your spleen or whatever this shit is on the right side underneath your rib cage anymore because if I pop you there, bitch, you down. Obviously, you must not want to bust nuts or have children anymore because I'm going to go ahead and rivers dance on your damn nuts like I'm crushing wine with Beyonce. Maybe you don't want to walk anymore because now I done made your ass a paraplegic and you paralyzed from the neck down. I was going to make it the waist down, but fuck it, the neck down. Protect yourself. And if you are a queer person or a woman in 2024 and you don't have no form of self-defense, and I ain't talking about no pepper spray, baby, because the wind blow the wrong way, girl, you're fucked. I'm talking about strong ass tasers that's able to take down bears and shit. I'm talking about damn T-push knives and all type of switchblades and all type of stuff on you. And if you got a good enough background, get yourself a firearm and go to the range and spend money in reference to investing in your self-defense. Motherfuckers invest in makeup, clothes, Birkin bags, all type of shit that depreciate in value once your nigga ass buy it and put it on your nigga skin and your nigga smell is on it. Why not take some of that money that you would spend on damn products of people who don't really fucking care about you, only care about you because you bringing in green money, and invest that money in a damn Glock, some damn hollow tips, girl, because if you're gonna fuck with a queer person, girl, just like nut, girl, broken up in all type of ways in your body. And go to the range, become familiar with a nigga at the range, girl, so that if a nigga try you, girl, you will be able to survive the encounter. You can get therapy afterwards. But make sure you live the encounter. Because all Carlos was trying to do was to try to better himself. And yes, he may have attracted somebody that he probably loved at one point in time. But Carlos had to realize that I love me more. And that my family sees what's going on. And my family loves me. And that I'm grateful to have a family that's willing to accept me. Even though society and church and religion tells them that if you do, you compromising your ticket to heaven. So I know and understand and have a strong foundation in the beginning to know what self-love is. Now that I realize that, and now that I realize that you're not man enough for me, no Tony Braxton, bitch, that I can walk away from you. But that person also was afraid to walk away, or to let him walk away, because again, he's going to be left with himself. And that's why even when you're dating people, queer people and women, just do human. When you're dating people in general, no shade. That's why you're supposed to date. Dating means I'm going out and I'm trying to assess you to see if you're worth this. And yes, there are people out there who are like wolves in sheep's clothing and will play the game, girl. But if you love yourself and you understand what love is, girl, and what you deserve and you desire, I don't give a fuck how the outside might look like, girl. Your spirit will be able to smell the wolf, because wolves are very smelly, bitch. You'll be able to sniff that wolf spirit, girl, to where it's like, nope. Also known as red flags. And a lot of us, and I'm raising my hand right now because I've been very guilty of this, ignoring red flags because I thought I had the power to transmute that red flag into a green flag. And I did. I gave the motherfucker a green flag and green light, bitch, like Beyonce, to fuck my life up. I gave them the green light and gave them permission and gave them power to fuck my mind up and fuck my emotions up. To where to this day, I still look in retrospect and I still find aspects of healing because of those experiences. Let me see. Yes, and definitely condolences to Colin's family. Deshaun said, but his ex-lover also had toxic memes up there on his Facebook, Johnson, whatever his name is, and he used the same play on his ex-lover, and these are sexual men that he's using. I'm not going to be real. I'm just going to be real, Bubs. The law never cared about gay men. Let's go back to Jeffrey Dahmer. And when Jeffrey Dahmer stopped with white, he wanted blacks the most. That is gay. Yep. And again, according to the show, the Netflix series that we've seen, he was able to, unfortunately, and to him successfully complete some of his murders because it was in a low-income neighborhood where police already have a preconceived notion about it. They weren't coming to the place at all. They were ignoring the cause. And then when you have people who see what's going on, good people who are aware, people who are nosy, no shade, who end up doing their due deals, and they're calling the police and they're having these things done, the police don't do nothing about it. Or when they do come, they're annoyed and they're irritated. Meanwhile, this individual was able to do all of this. And they got rid of the tenants in the building. And tore the apartment building down, not even compensating those or helping to relocate those who are being kicked out of it, all because America wants to forget this travesty. Just like how, again, Chris Collins did what he was supposed to do in the court of law, dealing with an individual who was an ex-police officer. But like you said, because it's black, and then people have the nerve to sit up here and say that black people are always complaining and black people are always this and always that. And you wonder why a lot of black people end up being mad and upset and angry, because you are literally denouncing, actively denouncing and denying the quality of life of people. And then they have the burden of proof always. Like someone else said, I forgot who said it, but it was like whenever something is presented, it's like you have to present something more. There has to be more, one more. I have done how many damn lives on different situations about queerness and how queer people are being affected by this shit. How it ranges from those that have positions of power, like pastors and preachers on their pulpits, different state people and lawmakers and all this type of shit in the political arena, down to the everyday Joe Schmo American girl who is on TikTok, who is on Instagram, who are on these social media platforms and leaving their thoughts underneath comment sections that verify the stories of the queer people and the oppressed groups of people, their lives. When I tell y'all this shit is deep, it is deep. And if we do not do our own due deals to love ourselves, because that's the most important thing I would want everybody to understand. That's why with all of my content that I do, online and offline, everything is centered around love for me. That's how I look at it. That's my perspective. It may not be everybody's perspective, but I hope you love yourself enough to find your perspective, find the perspective that aligns with some sort of aspect of my perspective, and let's build on that. That's true, genuine community. If we don't work on that, this shit will get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And in America, in the West, we already becoming lazy mentally. We already becoming lazy emotionally. We're already becoming lazy, hell, physically. Instead of using technology to help enhance our lives, to enhance the quality of our lives, we have it there to literally replace our lives. America has become very fast food, very much fast, everything fast, information fast, all things fast. And in some cases, in some instances, fast is desirable, fast is indeed needed. I will give you that. But in the realm of spirituality, in the realm of healing, in the realm of shadow work, those things take time. Or better yet, those things don't operate in the same way we operate in reference to this reality and time, because the spirit realm is in a whole different type of frequency than this dense reality that we're in, that is governed by this illusion known as time. Which is why a lot of people are saying that time is going faster. And I know I'm not the only one who feels like time is flying past. It just seemed like yesterday we were in 2020. Queen Stevie said a piece of paper won't protect you, unfortunately. Or it won't protect you if your skin is a certain type of color, or the amount of money you make is attached to it, because they care about they'll care about the piece of paper if that piece of paper green, come along with some green and a lot of zeros, they'll find a way then. And I low-key am thinking about possibly doing like a part 2 on Deezy in reference to like Arquez, because some of the shit that they recently been through is kind of like, wow, I think they're back together now. And then it's like you have younger gay men that are on these apps that are looking at other older gay men, because again, they're looking for something that is like them, and they think that this is cute. But at the same time, look at black women. A lot of black women in the black community feel like a thug ass nigga is that nigga, because he's the man and he's the one getting to the money and he's the one getting the power and respect. There goes the toxic masculines 3-point plan. Money, power, respect. And those 3 pillars help to unlock the ultimate portal, the portal of pussy. to where they like niggas with guns and that go out there and that are menaces and agents of chaos in the community. And that shit, again, a lot of queer people are practicing or following heteronormative ideas as well, because queer people are trying to figure out who the fuck we are. And whenever we do try to progress on the spectrum of queerness, even queer people in the queer community judge that and is fearful of that. That's why I'm saying at the end of the day, human beings, regardless of however the expression is, need to fucking heal. Because when you heal, you ain't worried about other hoes. You actually start to love and appreciate and respect other aspects and expression of life, and being able to be on your Miss Pearly shit. Shut up, bitch. I know somebody like it. And also understand that you should be grateful that there's someone out there that's doing something that you ain't gotta do. For the straight men, be glad that there are gay men out there in the world that ain't gotta do what you gotta do. Be glad that there aren't other gay men out here that are contributing to the toxic viewpoint that a lot of black men do in reference to getting with women only to fuck them, have a freaknik one night with them, no Luther Vandross. I said, just for them to get pregnant and say, oh, well, I'm not the daddy. And now she on Maury for the 9th time with a nigga who ain't the father. And then motherfuckers get on a platform and call these type of women hoes. When y'all niggas be out here fucking the hoes, and on top of that, y'all fucking the hoes with no protection. Like it was said, and it's not gonna be verbatim, but it said, the hardest thing for a man to turn down is a steaming hot piece of pussy and ass. Now, DZ is the one that's doing the toxic on his other boyfriend. Yup. DZ, yup. Because again, even with DZ, like he kept saying, oh, do you love me? You don't love me. Do you love me? See, when a motherfucker say, do you love me multiple times, he told them yes, and they keep telling you motherfucking, do you love me? And they drunk, because we understand that a drunk mind speaks a sober heart. So if they keep telling you that shit, let them go. Let them go. I don't give a fuck how attractive they are. There's a lot of niggas out here, again, wolves in sheep's clothing. There are niggas out here who will get their body together and have all type of 6-pack, 8-pack, 12-pack, motherfucking fat ass, nice waist, all these things to deter you or distract you from the internal bullshit that they're dealing with. Or the fact of, because I look good, and because I have all these followers, and because I'm verified, and because when I go to the spot, bitches know who I am, girl. Meanwhile, when it's late in the midnight hour, the only thing that's around you is your damn dogs. You can't call these people and tell them what's going on in your life, because if you do, some of these niggas will try to take that shit and capitalize off of it. I mean, look at Bigo. How all these secrets come out for a price. And DZ was in therapy. I want to know what the fuck happened to that. And now here come DZ coming along, fucking up somebody else's life. And Arquez, again, playing the role of attention as well. I'm going to stay by my man. I love him. Even though y'all in physical altercations, on live, being posted on T's Clock and all over damn Twitter and X and Instagram and all social media platforms. But again, this society also has taught us that you can also profit off of your pain, because pain is very profitable as well. And they're getting a coin off of that. But it becomes toxic because it bleeds into real life. See, it'll be one thing if those individuals on BGO were all friends behind the scene, they was cool, and just when the red light is on, okay, y'all, we pretending we playing this for entertainment purposes only, and we just can't, and we giving y'all a good time, and y'all just paying us for entertainment. Okay, that's different if everybody's in on it. If all the players and the participants involved in the situation are saying, okay, I'm game. And they going behind the scenes, oh, girl, okay, look, when we go on live again, I'm going to do this. I want you to come here and say this. Like, if you were doing it in that way, I'm cool with that because that's entertainment. You can say cut. But this shit bleeds out into real life to where these individuals end up fucking some of the people who are in the comment section, or some of the people in the comment sections get themselves physically involved in these situations because everybody trying to look for a come up, everybody trying to get to the bag. And we are seeing that, unfortunately, for people to get to the bag in the fastest way, but yet the most shallow and getting fucked in the back end way, is through these displays of just being completely fucking ratchet with no intention and purpose. I can understand you being ratchet, bitch, if you are trying to defend yourself, but being ratchet just to be ratchet, and you wonder why these networks keep coming out with all this trash to where all the people who are getting all this shit, and oh, I'm a celebrity and hoes know me and I'm headlining at parties and I'm headlining at clubs and all this shit. Meanwhile, y'all the same ones who are basically struggling financially like everybody else, but you supposed to be the star. Meanwhile, the individuals who made the shit and put y'all on their platform, they getting all the money. You just getting the views. And a part of the recognition that can die down, because those apps and those businesses, they have the ability to do a part 2, a part 3, a part 4, and it's not guaranteed that your ass is going to be on there. Okay? So if you have these only avenues put out there, especially for black people who are trying to get the fuck up out of their shit, why do you think the trap life is so fucking big? Is because they're being taught that that's the only way to get to some money. Yeah, you might end up being incarcerated and possibly throw your whole life away. Yeah, you may end up not fucking living anymore and end up being in a box or cremated somewhere. And at a young age, and as we're seeing even a younger age, y'all remember Lil RT, 9-10-year-old boy? That yet the real God still haven't made a live about that. But they have no other healthy outlet of what black men can do. And when that does happen, that idea or that way, that alternative way that is more actually healthy and out of the trap life, their pathway is very narrow, and some of them don't even fucking make it out. You got people right now who were in gangs and shit during the fucking 70s and 80s who are still living in hiding today because niggas still looking for them. And how that energy is primarily ran by black men. And that black men are the ones that are putting their energy into it. And that energy is affecting the lives of not just black men, but black people, to where there are even innocent people who have nothing to do with whatever bullshit ass beef that is going on, that now they have to have their life snuffed out. Because of your bullshit. Wow. So So it's the norm all the way around pretty much. So basically it's women, gay men, or trans that they really don't care about. Because it happens to their daughter, then they have a problem. But if it's not their daughter, oh, that's not my problem, don't care. Exactly. I've heard on platforms too, oh, we're not going to protect these whole ass women. Y'all want me to protect the women that got slapped with a brick? You want me to protect her? All these you want me to protect these hoes out here? What did Charleston White say? Y'all remember what Charleston White said? Oh, well, I'll protect the lady, but I ain't protecting these hoes. These hoes. Hoes only meant to get fucked. Yeah, just like, but like you said, Deshaun, until their daughter is a hoe. Or a perceived hoe. Because sometimes you ain't even got to actually be a hoe. You can just be perceived as a hoe, and that's enough. When I thought it was protect black women, and if her ass is wrong, we can hold her accountable after the fact. Just like if a nigga was wrong, we can hold him accountable after the fact. At least can we make sure that these individuals survive? And I'd rather those individuals say, we don't protect all black women. We just protect, we protect righteous black women. You unrighteous hoes. That's it. But again, with this society we live in, don't forget, you a black nigga, black man. The system sees you more threatening than a black woman, right? Or a black gay man, right? That's what y'all say, that we're weak and docile and we present no challenge. But if a white police officer or racist police officer decides that you're threatening to him, even though you're not, well, you're perceived to be that way. So if you're going to perceive hoes like that, don't get mad when white police officers perceive you as the angry black person who just happens to need to be pulled over. That's not the same energetically it is. The fuck? You can scroll up of what I said, more info, what you missed if you want to. Queen Stevie said, it's not a safe space, and it takes us having healing conversation like these and bringing awareness to DV. I just did a girl talk with a survivor of DV, Chappelle Nicole. She's an actress. Oh, wow. And she said the same thing I said, and that is that a piece of paper will not protect you. DV in the queer community is looked at as a joke, especially in spaces like Beagle. Yep. Again, a lot of us queer people, we unconsciously still participate in the heteronormative. Like, this is the time for women to figure out who the fuck women are without the interpretation of men. This is the time for black people to figure out who the fuck they are without the interpretation of a white overseer. This is a time for queer people to be able to find out what queerness is without having the overseer of heterosexuality. This is the time for us to figure out who the fuck we are. We were all made uniquely different. We all have our own unique fingerprint. So why the fuck should I act like you when I'm me? As long as what I'm doing is not harming myself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, objectively, to when you can prove it, not where you feel subjective in my perception, but objectively, and I'm not hurting you objectively, it shouldn't be a fucking problem. Live and let live. And when it comes down to DV, whether it's man or a woman, you shouldn't put your motherfucking hands on people at all unless you are prepared to have them put their hands on your ass. Point blank, period. And that no matter what it is, if it's a woman calling about domestic abuse, if it's a man calling about domestic abuse, you as a law enforcement and as part of the system is supposed to take this shit the fuck serious. You're supposed to be non-biased. You're supposed to be there to be a servant to the fucking public. Which is why for police officers, excuse me, when they brought up the whole defund the police thing, it wasn't about defunding the police to where there's no police at all, to where law and order is completely destroyed, but saying that instead of spending all this money Hold on. Ooh, look, my throat getting itchy. Instead of y'all spending all this money to militarize police, to create this goddamn hybrid between police officer and fucking SWAT, why not use some of those funds to help bring in social workers into the mix as well? I did a live where I literally, through the lens of another individual by the name of, what's his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. Shit, what is his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. I can see the video and everything right now. I forgot, it'll come to me. But on his video, he's a white guy. He broke down what defund the police really meant with facts, with articles, with statements, all these things in a very scholastic way, because when you're doing it the right way, the true way, you have all your sources there, because again, seeing is also believing. He used the example of like this. In a perfect case, we're talking about domestic violence. In a domestic violence case, instead of a police officer coming to the scene who's only been at the police academy for a certain amount of weeks and does not have any sort of emotional awareness and intelligence and empathy and sympathy training to be able to diffuse the situation. Because the part of the police is to diffuse the situation. And they are responders. Actually, they said, yeah, they're responders, but they need to be taught how to respond in a humanistic way. But if they have, for example, let's say, a conflict resolutionist with them, who, yes, the police and the conflict resolutionist both go to the scene where this is all going down, and the conflict resolutionist who is qualified, went to school, understands verbal and nonverbal communication, has been trained, certified to diffuse situations and to use their words and to use their mind and their true, genuine emotional awareness and intelligence to diffuse the situation so that the police don't end up being harmed, and that nobody else in this situation ends up being harmed. And if the conflict resolutionist cannot diffuse a situation and somebody decides to go the fuck off, then the police are there to respond in the proper way to make sure that everybody's safety is ensured. But no, that's not the case. Because when you don't have any emotional awareness and intelligence in your training, and you walk around with this unchallenged authority by the people who you're supposed to be working for, instead of them doing the right thing, it's like, the fuck, I'm the police. And I walk around with a hammer, and don't fuck with me, because everything that I'm starting to see is turning into nails. So are you trying to say something? That's the issue and the problem that I have. But that's why we as the people have to make a choice, which is why I'm having conversations with the people. And the people fucking scared to have real, true, genuine conversations. Because these conversations are not going to remain on the surface level. We're not going to talk about the symptoms of shit that fucking happened, because that'd be the goddamn problem. Just like the pharmaceutical company. They don't give you the medicine to cure you from your shit, from the origin of it. They'll give you shit to deal with the symptoms of what you have and give you some shit that ain't really good for you. And then now you have an onset of new symptoms, so you need new medication. I'm tired of you motherfuckers getting on microphones and having these symptomatic conversations as opposed to delving deeper. That's why I be all over the place. And really, I'm gonna bring it to y'all. I'm just gonna break it all the way down for y'all. Y'all see it as being all over the place. I see it as penetrating through all these different layers. Because again, I understand that there is levels to this shit. And if y'all want to be cool and chatting on level 1 when there are 10 levels to this shit, then y'all need to stay y'all asses in the motherfucking comment sections and not on platforms speaking your shit. Because when you do, BubzDaGawd will be here to give his commentary. Just like y'all have the right to give y'all commentary on my shit, which a lot of y'all are afraid to do. Or if you do, you have to chop it up. Because again, we saw another platform try to give commentary on me using their own live and failed. I keep telling y'all that emotional awareness is something else. Stoicism, you got to be strong. I talked about it all the time. Black people for 400 years, we have been taught that we have to be strong and not to break. Or better yet, that we also have the option to not just survive, which means we have to be strong, but actually live too. Because we also have to live in the moment. And even though there is a lot of work that black people need to do, there is still some beautiful things about blackness. So I think that in the midst of healing, while we're challenging the negative, low vibrational thought processes that then manifest into the physical actions in which we as black people play into, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, we can also heal from that and deal with that, while at the same time strengthening or expanding our territory or enlarging our territory for something greater to come by loving on the beautiful aspects of ourselves. Because when I get on my platform, for a lot of red pill people who listen to my commentary, they automatically label me as a man hater, even though I am a man and I want to be with a man. So make that fucking make sense. You know what? Never mind. This was yesterday. He was also asking, how was you gay? And he said he had an attraction to another boy at 4 years old. He was shocked. Oh, I don't believe it. I'm reading the comments, y'all. Queen Stevie says, oh no, I'm putting it on wax, Bubs. BMU 26% of gay men and 37.3% have experienced rape, physical and or stalking violence in comparison to 29% of hetero men. Wow. In 2012, fewer than 5% of the LGBTQ survivors of intimate partner violence sought out PTOS. What's up, Snatched by Diego? I hope you're still here. I'm just finally getting to your comments. So, again, if you're here, hey, thank you for coming through. Excuse me. They don't care about gay men then, and they don't care about gay men now. From that toxic stuff that was happening between Jonathan and Carlos, we still got a lot to work to do. Exactly. Still looking through your comments. Let's see. And I don't F with Kim Burrell at all with her damn going down in them boots, nor the Clark sisters. And you know what's so crazy? Like, even with my stuff, even though I don't fuck with Kim Burrell in reference to her energy and how she delivers certain things, I still acknowledge, again, her gift and what she brings to the gospel music industry. And even the Clark sisters, like, I still have a love for the Clark sisters. Like, I have a love for Kiera Sheard, even though they have all said some problematic shit. No shade, they have. And if they do say some problematic shit going forward, especially for queerness, they still gonna get their ass checked too, because I don't give a damn if you hiding behind the realm of gospel, because guess what? Your music has broken out of gospel and into the world. So so now that it's in the world has the right to comment on y'all, especially since y'all comment on the world. Okay? But that's completely understandable, because there are some people who have certain, limits with things. Understandable. But I heard Alex Jones isn't paying at all. He's not. He said, I'm not paying for the millions of dollars I'm paying for. That's what he said. Yeah, that's fine. But see, that's okay too, because here's another thing that I forgot to mention too in reference to self-defense. And another form of reconciliation. Let me take a sip. Hold on. You can also, because again, at the beginning and end of it all, in my opinion, all this whole experience that we're going through, even though it's unique in our own different ways, is spiritual first. We are spiritual beings having a natural experience. When you are connected to spirit, even on a basic foundational level, if you build upon that foundation, you will learn more about the spirit and how the spirit works. There is a way to get what the fuck you want, especially when it's due to you. And there are ways spiritually to where you can get maybe not the physical representation of it, but you can get the energetic representation of it. And if people are to go down that route, I would suggest that be the last route taken. Even the hey. Because there are people out here who have done people wrong, and they fuck around with the wrong person that they done wrong, and that person that they fucked around that was wrong end up doing something to where the person that wronged them in the first place is now willing to be right. And if he's not going to pay all that stuff, if I'm not mistaken, can't they just garnish his shit? Can't they just take his shit away from him? Doesn't that mean that his network is gone and any form of money that you... But I mean, I don't know, because at the same time, Cordell won a lawsuit, $1 million lawsuit against Andrew Caldwell, and he riding around and shit all the time. So, I mean, hell. But like I said, there are ways to get shit that you want. No shade. A motherfucker do you wrong and they're not willing to apologize for their shit. There are things that you can do in the spirit realm to help karma do its damn thing, girl. Help expedite it. No shade. Now, again, if you're going to do that, be very cautious and understand how the law of karma works too. And if you haven't seen the documentary about Alex Jones yet, please make sure y'all go on HBO Max and watch it, because that shit was crazy. Let me see. We getting close to the end. I think y'all. Seems like grown-ups are, I wouldn't say low IQ, but I don't think they're adults. And then they're so extra, and the kids are grown, and the gay people are normal. It's so backwards. Well, when you live in a privileged way, a lot of times you don't have to really do extra work. It's those who are not privileged and, again, are told to pull themselves up from their bootstraps, even though they have no fucking boots, but they still put in the work anyway. There are individuals out there who, because they do that work, they have a greater sense of awareness. That's why there's so many queer people who are still rising and ascending and being successful despite what society says that they should be. That's why so many black people are rising and becoming successful in their life, even though society says that because you're black, you're not meant to do that, especially since this country was not meant for your black nigga ass. Do you get what I'm saying? So, of course, it's going to seem what we would consider as backwards. But what's really happening is that there's a recalibration spiritually that's happening. The pendulum is swinging evenly from the right now, like it did from the left. That's all. And people need to start saying that the weapons that form against me will never prosper. Take it back to where it came from. That part. What did T.S. Madison say? A man will sleep with a rock. And no shade, like I'm so mad that T.S. Madison's old YouTube channel was removed, because I remember rocking with her when she was a BDB, before she became the T.S. Madison that we all know and love today. And even when she was doing adult film work, there were heterosexual men that were hitting her up all the time wanting to fuck. And she said, well, if you're going to fuck, you're going to have to do this shit on screen, and I'm going to get paid off of it, because at the end of the day, she's a businesswoman above all things. She's going to get to her money. And she had these procedures where these heterosexual men knew exactly what they were getting themselves into. There was no drugging. There was no, oh, we're going to take this nigga while he drunk and forge his signature. No, these people had to write their own signature down and come with their own license, which then was photocopied and then, I guess, kept for records or whatever the case may be, or to submit. I don't know the process of that, but had it. And then years later, these men are calling, blowing up her phone, hitting up her damn social media DMs, talking about, please take this down. My mama saw this. My pastor's wife saw this. Can you please take this down? And she said, no, you knew what you got yourself into. That's why emotional awareness is intelligence is important, because if you don't have that, you will allow your dickhead to make decisions for you. And we have seen what happens when you make a choice solely for the purpose of a fucking nut without intention and purpose. I mean, look at the foster care system. And the gays ain't putting them there. Remember? And also these women that be sleeping with all these men that don't know what these men be sleeping with. T.S. Madison also said about these women don't know nothing about it because they can't get it because they heterosexual. You bet. Wow. Yeah, Grayling. Let's talk. Yeah, Grayling Parnell. Yep. And then you have. Let's talk about the queer community real quick, because again, we all around the world now. Yeah. Listen, on BGO, there are older gay men who are in their mid-30s that are dating 18 to 21-year-old men, young adults, and grooming them sexually. Now, it would be one thing if this person that was in their mid-30s was in a relationship with someone who technically is an adult, who was very mature for their age, and this person that was older was helping them out financially, not pressuring them into sex, and literally courting, dating, and all that type of stuff. That's different, because technically they're an adult. Motherfuckers can go to war and die at 18. You telling me they can't choose who they want to fuck at 18? But in the cases like Grayling Purnell. In the cases of, who else? Kai Levine. In the cases of, who else? I forgot who else. In those cases, it was meant to dominate sexually, to have someone that I can manipulate, someone I can play games on, somebody who already looking up to me as some sort of role model and putting their trust in me, just like a lot of people put their trust in their pastor who also be fucking people in their congregation. But the form of power is not a even dynamic of power. Someone has more power over the other person, and they use that power in a destructive way. Like, for example, Grayling Purnell would have individuals get his name tattooed on their faces as a form of branding them. How these are individuals who don't have any hopes or dreams or goals in their own life that they want to achieve or don't know how to do that, and they attract this individual who says, oh well, since you don't have no sort of purpose in your life, I'll be the purpose in your motherfucking life. That's another reason why I want parents of queer children and family members of queer children and queer youth to love on them. Because when you push them out the house, when you push them out the church, when you push them out of the unconditional agape love of God, source, universe, consciousness, into the darkness, into the closet, then they have a higher probability and chance of attracting individuals like Grayling Purnell, or hell, individuals like Marcus fucking Johnson. And then when your child or queer family member is dead and gone, now you want to be crying on the casket. Now you want to be rolling on the floor having a goddamn temper tantrum fucking panic attack because now you have to deal with the objective reality that your child is never coming back and that your ass played a part in that. And now the guilt and shame or the karma is going to be whooping your motherfucking ass. Have we not seen the movie Prayers for Bobby? That was based off of a true story? That's why I talk about love. Because love says what? Covers a multitude. It's just that in this society, we're starting to learn now, but we have been taught so much for such a long time how we're not worthy of love, how we're not deserving of love. Even when I was in the realm of organized religion, some of the songs, oh, I'm dirty, I'm a dirty rag, I'm desperate for you, I'm broken, I'm all. You don't understand that you speaking over yourself too? But then when you actually read the book and you pay attention to what I would consider to be the most important parts of the whole entire book, which is the narrative of Christ, because that's the direct connection to God, source, universe, consciousness, love, that says that you are God's and that you will go far forth and do far greater works than me. That I am just a representation or an example of the power that's already in you that I'm trying to get your motherfucking ass to see, but you continue to participate in denying that for you. And again, from the queer perspective, when your family tells you that it's an abomination, it's a sin, it's against nature, it's against blackness because it's a European thing. Let's not forget the live we just did where the African man said, you can bring that, I moved it to the UK and you bringing that European shit here? An African in the UK and some European fag shit's happening here? Oh, no, 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 no. Who is going to pay for this? You are. The fear of, oh my God, you because you gay, you got HIV and AIDS, like you a damn leper. And even how we as queer people treat people with HIV and AIDS as lepers. To go out into the world and have to deal with that discrimination. Oh, well, be discriminated against in reference to health care, housing, just everyday motherfucking basic interactions, girl. We just got a video of a bitch who worked at Starbucks, girl, who said, I'm not going to honor your pronouns because of my religious freedom. And we're going back in the same circle of the same bullshit. A cringy ass sequel, girl, that we didn't ask for. I be telling y'all, this shit is deep. This shit is deep. Let me continue. No problem, Diego. No problem. Thank you for being here. What's going on, Lamaj? If you still here, Jamal, we waiting on the next episode. If you still here, what's up, Brave? Get all we got. What's going on? Shout out to you. It's always good to have you in the building. You don't want your son to be gay, but yet that's the reason why Dio was born. Yep. My father didn't want me to be gay. I already told y'all my story about what happened when my father found an inkling of queerness physically, objectively present in front of him, where we both saw a girl. That was the most toxic shit I've ever experienced from my father. To where that shit scarred me for years, to where I couldn't even really talk to him about my life. Why? I would talk to my mother more than I would talk to my damn father. My father, why you never talk to me? Because look at what happened if I talk to you. Damn it. You did this shit to me and I ain't said shit, so I can only imagine what the hell you would do if I did say it. My father had a whole nervous breakdown. Cried in front of my pastor, had a secret meeting with my pastor where he was crying. My father felt like he failed some damn where. I had to go with my pastor to a damn deliverance service that didn't work. All because I didn't want my son to be gay. Do y'all remember that live I did? Remember? Gay pranks versus gay reality? When that African dad said, they're going to laugh at me. Who is going to work with me? Who is going to want to be my friend? If I have a gay son, we African. If I have a gay son, no. Was getting ready to get boiling water and manifest another incident that actually happened to two queer men, where an individual poured boiling water onto both of those queer men in real life. And y'all wonder why I be speaking the way that I do. Y'all wonder why I have the fire and the passion in my damn voice when I speak that have certain niggas ready to jump through the motherfucking screen at me. Because of the lack of the emotional awareness and intelligence, even though you're older in age, energetically, emotionally, you're still acting like the young ass boy who was in the first grade on the playground, that when he likes somebody, instead of being able to open his mouth and tell him and communicate that, he fucking hits them. It's like a child that doesn't know how to express itself with words, so it uses physical violence to talk. Well, if that's your preferred method of speaking, don't be mad when the universe sends you somebody, girl, who is very proficient in English and able to transmute that from motherfucking verbal to physical, like a blind person reading Braille and touching all on your ass and reading all your DNA. And I'm glad I have you thinking about stuff at work, because that's the purpose of my channel, is to make people think, to think outside the box. That's why there are certain people that I do still watch their content. For example, I'm going to throw their name out there. Tough Topics Podcast. I still watch their content. I still have to watch the most recent stuff because I was off for a week doing other shit. But I like the way she thinks. Does she agree about queerness? No. Does she stand her ground about queerness? Yes. But I also do like the way she thinks, and I do believe that she does have the emotional awareness and capacity to be able to have a conversation about queerness and get to the gray area and then work on that, as opposed to going back and forth. Because what made me be able to be like, oh, I fuck with Tough Topics Podcast, even though we don't talk a lot, I still fuck with her and I still respect her as a content creator, because she, in a sense, if you ask me, called out red pill communities who their only purpose was to talk bad about women and not hold men accountable and have the conversations about men. And we know exactly which platform she was talking about, because she has yet to return to that platform. But I like the way she thinks. And I'ma still give somebody a G and a point for that. But my purpose is to make people think, because we obviously don't have the objective answers that work for everybody or the majority. We don't. We can get to that point. I know people believe that cycle's going to always happen and history is always deemed to repeat itself, but what type of history? His story. So are we going to continue to tell the same fucking stories that we've been telling for generations and generations and generations when it comes down to queerness, from what I know, the 50s on up? The 400 plus years that black people had to survive and be told that, oh, just one more thing. We need one more thing from y'all. This ain't enough to validate y'all existence. This ain't enough. One more. And now the black people subconsciously has adopted that one more element when it comes to queerness. Oh, we need one more thing. Well, how can we benefit from y'all? White people asking black people, how can we benefit from y'all? And the black people to the white people and the queer people to the heterosexual people are saying, bitch, look at the fucking history. Look at the fucking facts. Look at the lived experiences. What more do you need to see? What else do you need to know? Oh, maybe you need it to happen to you. Motherfuckers be trying to have conversations of reconciliation, and then you leave them with no choice but to then start having conversations of revenge. Because with reconciliation, you understand their side. You acknowledge the objective truth. Just like queer people acknowledge the objective truth that yes, 2 men and 2 women can't come together to procreate, but we can still bring life into this world. That every fucking argument that has been used against queer people has literally been destroyed. It's weak. And the queer people come through and factually prove it to you. Scientists have come through and factually proven it to you. Nature continues to factually prove it to you because there's so much about nature that we don't understand. Meanwhile, there's just something else, something else, something else. It's that something else that will continue to feed the flames of queerphobia. It's always that something else that's going to feed the flames of racism. And that's why I say it's a human thing, because racism, queerphobia, transphobia, xenophobia, all types of discrimination against people comes from an ignorant way of thinking. And then motherfuckers gag when they energetically end up in the same situations as the people that they're oppressing, and then sit up here and have the nerve to say, is this the devil? This must be the devil. Despite the fact that it's really God getting your attention, because the devil is also in your ass too, because we all have light and dark in us. Even in the scripture it reads, I forgot which one it is, but the Bible thumpers will let me know. I create light and I create darkness. I create good and I create evil. I, the Lord God, created all this, which means that God is in everything. But it's about how you look at it. And a lot of people are looking at it from a very surface, fear-based, ignorant way, not realizing that because you're operating in that way, you're also manifesting that fear in your own life. And instead of people talking to therapists, instead of rolling up a fucking blunt of some good ass, sticky, icky ass sativa, and have other black men around you who are aligned and aware and genuinely emotionally intelligent and aware, who are not going to judge you or make you being open and honest and emotional and vulnerable a homosexual thing where all of a sudden a dick is going to magically appear. No. There are other outlets to that. Hell, on one platform, they had a real life, clinically licensed individual who has multiple degrees, who has the lived experiences of actually doing this shit in real life and getting paid for it. Not just going on at a certain time so we can talk our shit, but actually getting paid for it and actually changing people's lives. On the platform, and nobody really trying to learn unless it's the possibility of me getting my wife to open up her legs and possibly suck my dick. Because I know a lot of you married niggas ain't really getting your dick sucked like that. And if you aren't, my condolences. Back to the comments. Let me see. See how they try to put in twist around your story, knowing that you wasn't touched as a child. Hell yeah, like when I was on the platform for the second time, and again, a beautiful queen. I'm not gonna disrespect her because I know her energy and spirit is pure and intentional. Is there some fear there? Is there some need for some sort of independent thought process without a man having to verify whether it's right or wrong? Yes. Yes, but at the end of the day, she's still a beautiful soul. And when it comes out to black women, I'm not finna perpetuate the stereotype of it's always gay men versus black women. No, when it comes out to black women, I'ma always talk to them nice. I might be a little stern in my voice, but I ain't gonna never go outside myself. I'ma give black women more grace than I give niggas. But her explanation, she said if she had a child that came out to her and said that they're possibly queer, the first thing that she is going to ask is, who touched you? Somebody had to do this to you. Like, who was it? Uncle so-and-so? Was it auntie so-and-so? Was it them? Instead of trying to comfort your child who is facing the objective fear of rejection from their family because what they've kept a secret in their fucking head has now been uttered out into the physical realm. What was once in the ethers has now manifested into this physical 3D reality, and they can't take it back. And the first response was, who's touched you? And no shade, if I had to make the choice of lesser than two evils, I'd rather take the who touched you thing as opposed to some of the reactions that we saw in the gay pranks video where they was pretending where both of these African parents was getting ready to fuck shit up. Even in my own experience when my father, again, had found an inkling of his son being queer, it was a very traumatic and low-key violent one. And then when she said that on the platform, I spoke to her point and I said, I think it's really ignorant to sit up here and assume that's how queer people are created, because I was never touched as a child. There is no dark memory that I have chosen to lock in the dark recesses of my mind actively, that through some form of goddamn hypnosis that will be unlocked. No, I have very good memory. I might forget what I'm saying sometimes in the present moment because I'm still learning how to find the balance between my physical and spiritual as far as the intuition and flow or whatever. But I have very good memory, like a pregnant elephant, bitch. I remember your ass from years on, bitch. I still remember. And then she turned around and tried to clean it up by saying, oh, well, I wasn't saying you, but the majority. How do you know this? Do you have evidence to back up that every person that is queer has been sexually abused? And if that is the case, the ones that were sexually abused by the same sex, who went to therapy, who were already heterosexual, but ended up going through therapy and are now having beautiful, healthy marriages and relationships and have children and have a healthy relationship and a healthy awareness and understanding of sex that was traumatizing for them when they were younger, what do you then say about them? And then before I did my final response to the people on that platform, which if you haven't heard, I would suggest you go back and listen to. It's an edited video. It's about almost an hour long. It's really good. I'm not all around the world because this is more so scripted. Okay, I'm definitely more lethal. I'm already lethal now with my free flowing, but I'm definitely more lethal when it comes down to scripted stuff. But before I even did that video, I ended up watching her live of her responding to that live that she was on with me, because it was told, or at least I was heard, that I offended her, just for me to go on her platform and say that, first of all, she enjoyed me being on her platform, that on the platform, and that was a pleasure to have a conversation with. And she even agreed to accept my truth in reference to that I was never touched. Meanwhile, there were people in the comments who were saying that I was lying, that I had to be touched, that there are certain key point elements that I am actively choosing to leave out of the story to verify my point, when I know what the fuck I went through in my life, and sexual abuse wasn't one of those things. But just like Deshaun said, see how they try to put in twist around your story knowing that you wasn't touched as a child? And thank you, Brave, for this comment. The ancestors speak through you, Bubs, and I am so thankful for your existence and fighting spirit. Thank you. And if you still here, I'm thankful for you. Like, when I tell you, there's a few Instagram stories I have to watch every day if I can, and his is definitely that. He's more spiritually attuned than I am. I'm still a infant, or shall I say a toddler, in my spiritual walk. You know what I mean? So a lot of the information that they share is very like, it's reminding of me manifesting my best life. Like, they give reminders that spiritually will hit me, that I needed in that moment in time. They also share in some of my conspiracy theorist side as well, with some of the things that they share and that I can actively see spiritually as well, that I'm low-key loving myself so I can prepare myself for. Because all the shit I'm talking about, self-love, may seem like lip service to some of y'all, that I'm just up here just a high gay ass leprechaun up here talking his mentally ill shit, girl. But when the shit hit the fan, we gonna see who actually walks shit out. And the shit hitting the fan is about to commence, y'all. And I'm telling y'all, the people that's throwing the shit to the fan, girl, they took all type of X-laxes, baby. They ate all type of spicy curry, Indian food and shit. Okay, they is prepared to let the floodgates, the brown floodgates, run. It's gonna be very messy, baby. Okay, but thank you for that comment. All right, y'all, I've been here long enough. Hold on. First of all, I want to say thank y'all so much for joining me for this live. Again, this live was an impromptu live. I know some people came in towards the tail end, so if you want to know what we spoke about in reference to the original topic, or shall I say the springboard for this live, you can definitely watch it in the beginning. And like I said, here on BubzDaGawd, we think outside the box. We don't just take it for surface level. We try to think outside the box. And I appreciate all people thinking outside the box. Hell, in some red pill communities, they think they thinking outside the box. All I'm saying is, when you think outside the box, you got to verify what's outside the box too. And when it comes down to BubzDaGawd and what the fuck BubzDaGawd does over here on his channel, baby, I puts in the work. No shade, I puts in the work. Okay, free and all. I puts in the work. So, may Collins rest in power. He was going too soon. It always hurts to see young black men, especially young black queer men's life, be snuffed out so soon. I hope that this brings more awareness to domestic violence abuse, especially with against men and men versus men. I hope that we as black queer men can start having more so healthier conversations. I hope that people that do have platforms and numbers and stuff like that and viewers will have these conversations. And if not, we over here on BubzDaGawd, we're very grassroots, which means that we try to be the change that we want to see in the world. So we're definitely going to have them here. If you can, please. Oh, and also Marcus Pimpin, I hope you get some therapy, man. I really do hope you get some therapy. Yes, you have to go to jail. You got to pay it. You took someone's life, man. You can still be reprimanded and find redemption. You can still have R&R, not rest and relaxation, bitch, but redemption, okay, and reprimand. Ain't nothing wrong with that, you know. But I hope that you're able to get whatever insecurities and issues that you have going on with you figured out, because if you don't, a situation could manifest that would be worse than jail time. No shade. If you can, please make sure that you hit that like button, okay, to help this channel grow in the algorithms, okay? We're trying to get us to 1,000. We are at 792, so we almost at 800. So we almost there, y'all. We pushing slowly but surely. We're definitely getting there. If you like the vibe over here on BubzDaGawd, please make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you can stay up to date with all of my lives. I also suggest that you please check out my previous lives, baby. I be putting so much information and giving so much context and nuance, and I would love to hear y'all's responses. My commentary and my content is created for background work. So if you are doing something whether you're cleaning, cooking, whether you're driving. Again, I'm in the background, and I low-key want to speak to your subconscious mind. So you can help by checking on my previous videos. And even if there's things that I say that you challenge, I welcome challenges as well, because I don't know everything. I'm not beyond reproach. Okay, the shit that I do speak about on this platform, I do know, I do put in the work. But if there is more that needs to be expounded on, or some other sort of context, or a blind spot that you can actively show me, I welcome that. If there's anything in this live that I said that touched and agree with your spirit and soul, and you feel like you know spaces and places where it can do the same for others, I ask that you please go back and screen record whatever parts of my live that hits your spirit, and go ahead and share that on your social media platforms, okay? And tag me in it as well, because the growth of BubzDaGawd is not just on me, baby. I'm doing what the hell I need to do, but I also need y'all help as well. So I appreciate all y'all for doing that. Shout out to King Deshaun in the building. Shout out to Brave Getty Nebo. Shout out to you. Gotta definitely have you on the platform very, very soon, because I do want to have some spiritual conversations with you. Shout out to Boy Crazy in the building. Shout out to Queen Spicy. Shout out to Snatched by Diego, who is here for the first time. I appreciate you. Shout out to Lamage Company, the boss in the building. Shout out to Queen Stevie in the building. Shout out to King Nate in the building. Shout out to Queen Lala in the building. I'm going through my comments, y'all. I'm going fast. I think I already said Nate already. Shout out to King Harold. He's the one that inspired this live by sending me the information. Also, if there are some things that you would like for me to speak on and give my commentary on, please make sure you follow me on Instagram and hit me up in my DMs, because that's the place that I'm most active. Now, it might take me a minute to get to y'all message. No shade, because if y'all saw my DMs, y'all be like, Bubs. But it is what it is. No shade. I'm trying to work on my own life, my own shit, okay? YouTube and all this shit is just one of the facets that I'm going to use to express my life purpose, okay? But you can definitely hit me up on there. I really appreciate it. Just making sure I'm getting everybody. I think that's everybody. Yes. And if you feel compelled, you can definitely hit a nigga up in the Cash App, okay? $signs BubzDaGawd, okay? We take everything that jingle and fold and in between. Okay, I appreciate y'all. Please continue to carry on these conversations on your platforms. And things are changing. Things are changing. We are in the information age. We're also in the new age of Aquarius, which means this is the age of truth, the age of justice, the age of accountability, but also the age of growth, the age of renewal, the age of reconciliation, the age of redemption, okay? A new heaven and new earth is emerging, and we're all being called to rise with it energetically. And BubzDaGawd is going to do his part to be able to help those that want to ascend, okay? So I appreciate y'all, and until next time, everybody, peace.